We do have another fan question. This is from YouTube, from Mike Steele. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. Mike says, if we are healthy, we can beat anyone in the East. Where do the Knicks fit into the Eastern Conference? John, let's start with you.
Oh boy, it's a great question. I mean, the if we are healthy, I think is doing a fair bit of work here, because right now, as we've talked about, the Knicks are pretty banged up. But let's just go with it for a second. Let's just say they're healthy. I think Boston remains in a class by themselves to some extent, because they just have assembled a really well-balanced two-way roster. Other than the Celtics, though, if the Knicks are healthy, I don't see a team out there that they are going to fear. And I'm not saying that the Knicks would necessarily be favored against, again, a fully healthy Bucks team. Or, we still don't know what the situation is with Joel Embiid. Is he going to be able to come back this year? To say nothing of really, really good teams like the Cavs and the Pacers. Like, it is a competitive East. And so that's why I don't think, the Knicks should be taking anybody lightly. But in terms of I think their floor was raised today, and I think their ceiling was raised today. And I think ideally, if you're a team that is trying to win games, you want to come out with both of those things. It wouldn't shock me in the least to see the Knicks wind up in the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on, how certain things break. And then again, if you make it that far, anything can happen. Boston is a great team. Don't get me wrong; they should be favored to come out of the East, but they're an imperfect team. And in particular, like, you get them in a close game down the stretch, they don't always tend to pull those out. And one thing I know the Knicks have is they have a closer, and his name is Jalen Brunson, who is also a guy that I would put up against pretty much anyone in the conference, in terms of, like, you give me your best guy, I'll give you my best guy. The way Jalen Brunson's playing right now, who would you definitively pick over him? I'm not sure how long that list is.
Yeah, I don't think it's very long. I think Jalen Brunson is my closer of choice. Fred, coming to you, just following up on what John was saying, how far do you think this Knicks team can go as constructed if they are healthy? Like, how far in the Eastern Conference, and when we talk about playoff time, how far do you think they can go?
I think I agree with John. I mean, I don't see why. We've talked so much about their plans for the future, the plans on chasing a star. Ian and I immediately, 6 seconds into a show where we're talking about a trade, 6 seconds in, we talk about the contract value of Bojan Bogdanovic and how that could affect the chase for a star. In some ways, we talk so much about that. But in the process of that, the Knicks have kind of gotten to a place where I think they internally have looked at this roster and been like, why not us? I'm not saying that they are expecting to make the finals, that they're expecting to be the best team in the East, or even that, like, people will be angry if they don't get there. I do think they're operating like a team, and they have internal belief that if things break right for them, they could make a really deep run. I do think that they want to end up in that 2 or 3 spot so they can avoid Boston until the conference finals. Mm-hmm. I do think that they are really, really confident, especially if they have Mitchell Robinson back by then. Yeah. I do think they would be really confident going into a series against the Cleveland Cavaliers after they just punked them in 5 games last year. Cleveland is better this year, and they're more experienced, and it might not happen again. But I think the Knicks go into that series confident. And I think they go into a series against Milwaukee confident too. I think I know they've lost 3 out of 4 times to Milwaukee during the regular season so far. Those games are before the OG Anunoby trade. And I think they match up actually very well schematically with Milwaukee, where Giannis is, if the Knicks are healthy, Giannis is going to have to guard Julius Randle, which puts him in a role that he doesn't prefer to be in. He likes to be more off the ball. Milwaukee doesn't have some sort of shutdown guy to guard Jalen Brunson, even after acquiring Pat Beverly today. Like, they don't have this roster that is going to mesh perfectly with what the Knicks have. And they have Anunoby, who you could stick on Giannis, and who you can never shut down Giannis. But if you want to make Giannis's life really difficult for 7 games, OG Anunoby is about as best as you can do. So if they're healthy, I think they really have a chance to make a real run. And like John said, if you're in the conference finals, it's like you got a chance. You just need health stuff to go right, and Jalen Brunson get really hot for a series, and all of a sudden you're talking about the Knicks the same way we did in 1994.
Oh, he
Yeah.
said it. I didn't know if you were going to go all the way there. He did.
I didn't say 1973. I didn't say 1973. I said 1994.
It's the collared shirt. It's the collared shirt. He's coming with it.
It's true. I'm feeling bold. I didn't even put in color states. That's how bold I'm feeling. They're just going to stand up on their own.
That's great.
I love it.